Hi, JDL Brushes here, and we have a new video. And this video is sponsored by the Marker Brush Pack, which I have created for you. Check it out. By the way, the Fineliner brushes are included in the Marker Brush Pack for free. All I did was use one of the marker brushes to make it more fineliner-ish, where the end points would slightly bleed, and it does give that bleed effect. And yeah, so I have different kind of sizes for that specific fineliner brush, so it's for free. Just if you did buy the brush, it's there. Just look for the Fineliner set, and then parentheses for marker brush pack. That's all you have to do. Find. So yeah. So I would consider this sketch as one of my mistakes in this batch of sketches, and everything was just off. The kind of first of all, this thing is in landscape, but the cropped, the 1x1 doesn't fit this landscape kind of thing, and I should just avoid these landscape stuff. Not because I can't do it. I mean, they're kind of it looks kind of cool sketching these kinds of landscape oriented stuff, but for Instagram I think it's best to have the kind of a sketch or a piece that's limited in the kind of box 1x1 aspect ratio. And I believe when I started coloring this thing, I had multiple tries, and I kind of overdid my finisher process, the color dodge, the sponge tool, and the burn tool, and it just looks so muddled in the end, and I was like, fuck. This is not working. But you know, it's a sketch, and yeah, I hope you'll learn from my mistake and just anyway. I mean, in terms of the line sketch, it looks kind of cool, but again, I think the excuse me, I do think the thickness of the line does not fit with the scale of the photo. I think that's the issue. Why doesn't this sketch look the same as my previous ones? You know what I mean? Or it actually looks very similar to my last sketch, where it was also kind of leaning on the side of a mistake. By the way, if you do have some kind of comments, some kind of advice or insight as to why, you know, it's looking this way, please do comment so I can kind of adjust my way of stuff. So now I'm working on the blacks, on the darks, but I am using the black kind of color. Yes, and I am trying to make it look interesting at this point, where I would just use the blacks, and I have seen the darks. And I saw the sketch. I can't find the original sketch, but I remember seeing this sketch, and this guy or girl was able to sketch a kind of a lobby for a mall or something, and they were able to balance some fine lines with some kind of thick black markers. I think they used some kind of like an average, like a permanent marker or something, and it looked so appealing, and it actually made an impact, and it made me realize that you can actually make a pretty good sketch with just, you know, some lines and some dark blacks. No shit, dark blacks, come on, Dave, come on. Anyway, so yes, I'm using a smaller brush size for the curtains. I mean, it makes sense, you know. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but I am kind of struggling with the space. And yes, I won't be doing these kinds of things again, or at least sketches in this kind of configuration. What I would probably do if I do have a landscape oriented reference photo, I think I would just probably focus on a specific part and kind of crop the rest out and make it more of a spot perspective thing. And I think those kinds of perspectives work well for Instagram, because these sketches are targeted for Instagram, and yeah, and it just helps me to kind of simplify my workload instead of doing all kinds of sketches with different kinds of orientations. I can just simplify my process, and because I'm mostly here to explore methodologies, and of course to show off my marker brushes and stuff, but primarily for the videos, to kind of find a nice enough process to use those marker brushes. So yeah, so I think that's a good enough reason why I should just simplify my workload. As you can see right now, I am struggling, and I think I deleted the my first try, or was it my first try? Not sure. And here you can actually see me use the hard-edged circle for the erase tool, and again, I don't do that often because it does make your sketch look very digital and too clean. And if you're trying to make something look kind of natural, I'm going to assume that you do want some kind of bleed in the edge of your marker stroke. So, be wary of constantly using the hard-edged or any hard-edged brush for that purpose. And even using the lasso tool, I was kind of all over the place in the sketch, and gosh, and I think it's fine, since I was trying to I can't really blame myself entirely. Well, maybe because I had no idea of I didn't have enough experience with the settings of how to sketch out these kinds of things in Photoshop. What orientation or what kind of settings do I need to have, or configuration or setup for the canvas size, for the brush sizes and stuff. So yeah, but I do know right now that these don't work in my current settings or setup. And as you can see, I was too complacent again with the colors. I was just picking the colors out from the reference photo. But again, that's not my point. That's not what I'm for. I'm not there to color stuff unnecessarily. What I'm trying to do is find the right way for now of sketching. What kind of setting is kind of cool. So I guess I can give myself a bit of an out. I just keep making excuses. Anyway. Alright. Although the kind of end of the kitchen, that kind of wall in the center, is kind of cool. Yeah. And I think I did mention that the final sketch looked kind of muddled, where everything was just kind of flat. Maybe it was by color choices, or maybe the blacks weren't evenly or properly distributed, and I'm not sure. And maybe I didn't actually have to render, say, the carpet entirely, maybe just the part to kind of signify and suggest that it's some kind of fabric. And even right now you can see it's just so full, like it's too much to take in. Ooh. And again, I'm using the hard brush again. Anyway, for the erase tool, which is annoying. And right now you can even see, if you're focusing on the furniture, the center table plus the couch, it's all the same. You know what I mean? Like, where is the table? I mean, you know, adding the white stuff, the white inks, does help define some of the edges, but it's not enough. You know, it's, oh shit, was that a, oh shit, sorry about that. Okay, I'm still in the whites. In fact, the whites are more of a finisher move, close to a finisher move. They're not really part of the main rendering, they're more of a final touch stuff or kind of thing. And so I wouldn't depend on them. I think I should not depend on them for defining the edges. Maybe to help, but I should do a good job in the line, in the darks, and in the color phase of this whole thing. Fuck. And I think this sketch took about an hour, a solid hour, because I was constantly kind of erasing, going back and forth, trying to figure out how this thing will work, and of course mix in with that my frustration and stuff. And I think even the adjustment layers did add to that muddle. Oh fuck. I also think the adjustment layers added to that muddled effect, where everything was just kind of pumped up with steroids and shit. You know what I mean? And I just overdid it. Fuck. Even right now you can see it's just trying to be, I'm not even sure. Fuck. So you know, don't be afraid to make these kinds of mistakes and just be, I don't know, chill and not be so annoyed, and actually make the mistake mean something. And for a mistake to mean something, all you have to do is learn from it, and the mistake will actually be of use. And yeah, just don't repeat the same thing, the same mistake again, and I think you'll be fine. I think even the kind of final finisher moves, the color dodge, the sponge tool, and the burn tool that I usually go for in the end, I think it even created a more kind of pumped up, overstimulated sketch. And I mean, it's not that bad, but I don't like it, and it's not my standards. This doesn't meet my standards for a good sketch, you know? It doesn't feel like a good sketch to me. And I can't really explain it objectively, but I do feel it. And maybe you do too. Yeah. Gosh, I'm out of water. I'm so dehydrated. Anyway, and I think I'm pretty close to finishing right now, and I'm just kind of resizing this thing for Instagram. And whenever I do the actual sketch, I don't really focus on, sometimes it does go over the box or the 1x1 frame, but it's okay. I can always resize it later on in the very ends, and that is the sketch for you.